naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire. Sarga 4, chapter 2, verse 13, Hanuman comes in for the first time in Valmiki Ramayana. So now, this is the first time actually Hanuman Vakya ko Vidaya says Valmiki. Hanuman, a person of excellent, he could persuasive speech. He is gifted with the art of speech. He said to Sugriva, who was cringing with fear, thinking that Wali, what could he be up to, why has he sent these two, etc. And he spoke to him, and we'll see what he spoke, his words that he spoke first in Ramayana. Let us listen to them in the Sanskrit, and then we will go into that for the day. Sambhramatyajyatamesha sarvair krite mahan malayoyam girivaro bhayam nehasti valinah yasmadudvignachetastvam pradruto haripungava tam krura darshanam kruram neha pashyami valinam yasmatava bhayam saumya purvajat papakarmanah saneha vali dushtatma nate pashyamyaham bhayam aho shakha mrigatvam te vyaktamev plavangama lagujittetayatmanam nastapayasi yobatau buddhi vijnana sampanna ingitaihi sarvamatara nahi buddhim gato raja sarvabhutani shastihi. This is what he says first to Sugriva. First words he says in Valmiki Ramayana is this: Sambhramastyajyatamesha sarvairvalikate mahan malayoyam girivaro bhayam nehasti kinvalinah. Sambhramastyajyatamesha sarvaihi. The simple meaning is fairly simple. Fairly simple meaning is, listen, all should abandon this great delusion created by Wali. This is the great Malaya mountain. We are in the Malaya mountain. There is no fear of Wali here. This is the thing. But let's look at it again. Sambhramat tyajyatam esha sarvaihi. It's like Sri Krishna starting in Bhagavad Gita saying Ashochan Anushocastam. Sambhramat tyajyatam esha sarvaihi. Sambhrama means what? Sambhrama has many synonyms of Sambhrama. Don't be agitated, don't be excited, shed the confusion, do not be bewildered. Tyajyatam, abandon this delusion. Brain fever that you are having. Sanskrit, in the dictionary, Sambhrama means to go quite astray, to be greatly confused, to be perplexed or puzzled, to be in despair, to be whirling around, to be hasty, to be excited, to be in a flurry, to be in error, to be mistaken. Sambhrama, to be mistaken, to be in delusion, to have eyes rolling about. All of that is Sambhrama. Sambhrama tyajyatam esha sarvaihi. All this confusion, this delusion, this excitement, this agitation, this erroneous thinking, abandon, says Hanuman. This is like Hanumat Upadesha. He starts with that. In Valmiki Ramayana, Hanuman starts with that. And says, of course, he leads in this context, he says, all this worry of what he will design Wali is up to. Wali cannot do anything here in this mountain, he cannot reach this place. Yasmadudvignachetastvam pradruto haripungavatam krura darshanam kruram neha pashyami valinam. Yasmad uddvignachetastam pradruto haripungava. He, out of fear of whom, O king, you have been running around from here to here, leaping from mountain to mountain. Even he was a part of that. O chief of apes, that cruel wali of cruel vision. I don't see him anywhere. I do not see him hereabouts. He is not around. That wicked wali, the unjust brother of whom you have fear. He is not here, my friend. I can see no cause for your fear. Yasmat tava bhayam saumya, he says. Hanuman calls Sugriva as Saumya, very affectionately. No, nothing to fear. There is no wali here, he tells Sugriva. And then he adds a punch to what he said, almost a punch on the nose of Sugriva by saying, "Oh, shakha mrugatvam te vyaktameva plavangama laguchitta yatat mahanam sthapayati yomatau." Oh, he says, alas, shakha mrugatvam te vyaktameva plavangama. It is clear that you have monkey mind. It is too clear that you share the weakness of the common run of monkeys, a common monkey. Because of your running mind. Because of your running mind, you are unable to assess a situation coolly and dispassionately. Right? Tells him that. He says, listen, you are endowed with intelligence and knowledge, king. You should, yes, be shrewd in your dealings. You must find out what is the intention of the others. Yes. A king who does not use his intelligence will never control his kingdom. Sugriva heard these words of Hanuman. He could see sense in that. And then he was also not without insight. He was also very insightful. So he replied to Hanuman. He said, listen, look at those two. Who will not be scared of those two godlike men? Look at them. Look at them. They got long arms, wide eyes, and they are armed to the teeth, carrying bow and arrow and sword. I fear that these two distinguished gentlemen are wali spies. For he has many friends. And we should not be lulled into complacence. They could be enemies in disguise. They may be people sent by wali who are alert and looking for the slightest opportunity to finish us. Wali is shrewd in management of affairs, and he always has many options. We can't be sure. Now, we need to, as you say, ascertain the intention of these two people. We have to do that. For that, we have to use a method. We have to use someone who can go and talk them up, but he should be somebody who seemed to be of no account. Like some woodcutter, some no account person. They should talk to him. Tau tvaya prakriteneva gatva jneyau plavangama ingitanam prakaraihi rupavya bhashanena cha. Therefore, I suggest, I would like you, O Hanuman, to go and meet them in disguise. Find out all about them. By scrutinizing, look at them when they talk, scrutinize them. Their appearance, ingitanya, do the body language. Study them. Gestures, tone of voice, words used. That might indicate what they have in mind. Find out their attitude. If they seem friendly and well disposed, find that out. Win their confidence by discreetly praising them. Praise them. And then when you are talking to them, stand in such a way that I can see you from here. I want to see your face. All of that. Hey, please go and ensure that they have no designs against me. In concurrence with Sugriva's command, Hanuman set out to meet these two godlike men who had come. With one flying leap, he went from Rishyamukha mountain to the place where these two were. Valmiki says, Kapirupam parityajya Hanuman marutatmaja bhikshurupam tato bheje shatabuddhitaya kapi tata sa Hanuman vacha shrakshnaya sumanogya vinita vadupagamya raghavo pranipatyaja abapashe tadaviro yatavat prashamsaja. Kapirupam parityajya. He abandoned first his monkey form. Hanuman, the son of Maruta, Vayuputra, abandoned the monkey form and he took on Bhikshu Rupam. He put on the form of a Bhikshu. Because the monkey form does not generate confidence. You don't trust a monkey. You may trust a Bhikshu. So he put on a Bhikshu form for Valmiki says Shatabuddhitaya Kapi. Because Hanuman, he used a Shatabuddhitaya, like a crafty design of his own. Shatabuddhi. He did that, he abandoned the form, took on the form of Bhikshu, and approaching Raghava princess with all humility, Vinitavad Upagamya. Raghavo pranipatyacha. He prostrated to them again and again. Pranipatyacha. Pranipatyacha. Pariprashnena. Pranipatena. Pranipatyacha. Ababashe tadaviro yathavat prashamsaha. He addressed them in a very differential way, ingratiating voice. So nice voice he put. He praised them, pleasing words, sincerely praising them, etc. This is what he says. On this point we'll just think a little bit around this and then we'll conclude today. Kapirupam parityajya Hanuman marutatmaja bhikshurupam tato bheje shatabuddhitaya. Shatabuddhitaya, Govindaraja in the commentary says, Shatabuddhitaya vanchaka buddhitaya. Vanchaka buddhi. Cunning, using his cunningness, he had thought something, he says. Whereas there are others who say the same verse can mean he abandoned the monkey form because the monkey form is supposed to be, monkey is supposed to be of crafty mind. So he abandoned that form. Bhikshu Rupam Sannyasi Vesham, says Govindaraja. We put on the Vesham of a Sannyasi. See, for this he gives the Amarakosham as the proof, because Amarakosham says Bhikshu, Parivrat, Karmandi, Parashadyapi, Maskari, iti Amaraha. These are all synonyms. Amarakosham, God, in those days, all the people, they were at the young age itself, they would know Amarakosham by heart. Her mother used to know by heart. So what a thing to know by heart. It's amazing. You know nothing. Bhikshu Rupam, Bhikshu, Parivrat, okay, Parivrat, Karmandi, etc. Basically, he is taking on a disguise which will be of respect, so that Rama and Lakshmana will speak the truth, they will be able to, they will have some deference, etc. So he is taken that Just as a comparison, do you recall the form which Ravana took when he came to kidnap Sita? Sugriva, Ravana came also in a sannyasi vesha. Same Amarakosham, Parivrat, it says, Bhikshu, Parivrat, says next itself Parivrat. That is the word used by Valmiki for Ravana when he approached Sita. Parivrajaka Rupa Dhrit, he says. But then he also explains in detail the whole disguise of Ravana. How he was Shlakshna Kashaya Samvita Shiki Chatri Upanihi Vame Chamse. He was having ochre robes. He was having a top knot. He was carrying an umbrella. He was carrying he had sandals on his feet. He had a tridanda and a water bowl. It was complete works of a sannyasi. Whereas when he's talking about Hanuman, he doesn't give in such detail the explanation of all that he was adding. He says Bhikshu Rupam. One simple word he uses, Bhikshu Rupam, and he's done with it. And there, when he's talking about Ravana, he says Ravana descended upon Sita like great darkness descending during Sandhya Kalam, shutting out the sun. Here, actually, it's exactly the opposite. It is also descending during Sandhya Kalam, but it's Pratha Sandhya. Sun is to come out now. It's the same Bhikshurupam, but it's exactly a different this thing that has happened here to him. And he had explained in great detail all the terrible omens that Ravana walking towards Sita. Godavari was frozen, the trees were in despair. I mean, everything that beautifully explained. We won't go into details now, but you may remember. So, could he have been wearing a sannyasi vesham? This is the question. This question we have the advantage of Mahapariva having said something about it. So that is why I thought I'd bring it in before we conclude today. Bhikshu is a sannyasi. Who else can be a bhikshu? Brahmachari. Mahapariva says Hanuman, he feels he came in brahmachari form. He came in brahmachari form. Valmiki says, Vinitapadupagamya Raghavau Pranipatyacha. He went with all humility to Rama and Lakshmana. And again and again he prostrated to him. Mahapariva says, had he been sannyasi, Rama would never have allowed him to do namaskara. He would have first prostrated to him. He wouldn't have allowed this. And Vinitapadupagamya Vidya Dadati Vinayam. A brahmachari, Rupam, brahmachari, has come. In that Rupam, he has done this thing. That Mahapariva says, I think he must have come in that form, not as a sannyasi. And I think we can add a little bit of our own thinking to it and say, yes, I know, it's very, very right. Because Hanuman was a Naishtika brahmachari himself. So if he were to take a Rupam, he will take a Swarupam only, easy to do. Not difficult for him to act that out. There is nothing he has to put on. Vinitam, etc. comes to him naturally. Where is the question? Does the physical form change? Otherwise, he is exactly what he would like to be. That's the role I want to play. That's me, you say, right? Some actor or actress will say, that's it. That was me. They had captured. So I did that. So likewise. So he has gone on that in the pure natural form of his. Shed of all everything. This is who I am, Rama. On that note, we'll conclude here.